are going to start off with Cambridge IGCSE paper 1 multiple choices, and this is a core paper, and the variant for this paper is 0625/11, and again it's an October November 2022 paper. Let's start off with our question number 1. The time for 10 swings of pendulums are measured. What is the average time for one swing? So obviously what you are going to do is first of all 10.12 plus 10.48 plus 10.24, you divide this by 10 and 3 also. So you can easily do the multiplication sign because there are 3 calculations, so you can do this thing to find out the value, or otherwise you can do this thing: divide this by 10, divide this by 10, divide this by 10. You get one values a, b and c, and then you add a plus b plus c over 3 to get your answer, which is going to be 1.028. So option A will be your answer. Okay. Now a car starts from rest. The table shows the reading from its speedometer every 10 seconds. Which rows describe the motion in first 30 seconds and the last 30 seconds? So last 30 seconds is this one, and the first 30 seconds is this one, 0. So it's going to be this first 30 seconds. Okay, so you guys can do this. So car is at rest. So this is telling you that this car is at rest. Which rules describe the car motion? Okay, so motion during the first 30 seconds is non-zero acceleration. Yes. Zero acceleration, no, because if you do the calculation, 4 minus 0 upon 10 is going to be, if you take the slope, so it's not going to be 0. 8 minus 4 divided by 10, and then 12 minus 4 is going to be like that. Okay, so zero acceleration, no, this is the option A or D can be possible. So in the motion during the last 30 seconds, so it has a constant speed, so this is not possible. So option D is going to be the right answer, because if it was 0 0 0, then this was the right answer, but in this case the speed is constant, so it's going to be the D is going to be the right answer. A stone is placed on a balance as shown. Which row gives the mass and weight of the stone? So mass is going to be 120, and weight is going to be okay. So how you are going to solve this question is basically so 120 is going to be divided by 1000, and then you have to multiply with 10 to get your weight. So mass is going to be 120, and then it's Newton, so you have to convert. This is the conversion for kg, kilograms. 120 gram is going to be divided by 1000 to convert it into kg, so it's going to be, then you have to multiply with 10. This is value of g, because we know that W is equals to mg, so it's going to be 1.2. so option A will be your right answer. The diagram shows the dimension of a solid regular block of metal of mass m. Which expression is used to calculate the density of the metal? So we know that the density is equal to mass over volume. So what is the volume of this block or cube, which has a rectangular base? So it's going to be P times Q times R. So option B is going to be your right answer. Moving to the next question. A force F acts on an object at a distance x from a pivot. Which two changes both increases the moments of the force about the pivot? So if you decrease the force, doesn't make sense. So increase the force and decrease, so it's not going to be. So option D is going to be the right answer, because if you increase the forces, so obviously there will be the moments will be increased if you increase the force and the distance, because the formula of moment is equals to F times D or F times X as per the question. The diagram represents only two forces acting on an object. Which object could be moving to the right at a constant speed? So now he is saying which object is going to move at to the right at a constant speed. So we have to see which object is moving towards the right at a constant speed. So here the option A is the right answer. Why it is this? Because at constant speed the acceleration of an object is zero, and according to Newton's second law, acceleration is directly proportional to force. So which means if acceleration is zero, so obviously force is also going to be zero. So this is going to be add up. This is going to be one towards the left side, and this is going to be one on the right side. Okay. The diagram shows a uniform rod with a midpoint on a pivot. The two weights x and y are hung from the rod. The rod is in equilibrium. Which statement is correct? The forces at x and y are different values. The x and y have different values. Uh, if they are, no, it's not like this. There is a resultant turning effect on the rod. The resultant force on the rod is zero. The rod does not have a center of mass. This is again wrong. This is not possible. This is okay, because he's saying that the question is saying, if you read the question again, the diagram shows a uniform rod with the midpoint on a pivot. The two weights x and y are hung from the rod to the rod. The rod is in equilibrium. Which statement is correct? The forces on x and y have different values. There is the resultant force, the resultant force. So when he's saying the rod is in equilibrium, so what does this mean? It means that the resultant force, again you see the condition, sum of all the forces on the objects must be equals to zero, or the moments equals to the sum of all the moments must be equals to zero. So over here the condition of equilibrium is telling you the resultant force on the rod is equals to zero. Brakes are used to slow down a moving car. Into which form of energy is most of the kinetic energy converted as the car slows down? So then there is going to be frictional force, and frictional force is going to produce a lot of thermal energy. What is the disadvantages of nuclear fission as a source of energy? Nuclear power stations are expensive to build. Yes, this is one of the reasons. Let me confirm this thing. Nuclear power stations are unreliable. Now that's not the reason. Nuclear power station can only provide small quantity of energy. Nuclear power station releases large quantities of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. No, this is not the right answer. So option A is going to be the right answer. The statement describes what happens when the power of machine is increased. The work done is in a given time decreases. The work done in a given time increases. The time taken to do a given quantity of work decreases. The time taken to do a given quantity of work increases. Which statements are correct? So basically, you see this thing when you increase the power of a machine. So what will happen? So power is equals to work done over time. So the work done in a given time is going to be increased, and when the power of a machine is increased again, that the time taken to do a given quantity is going to decrease. So when you increase this, so option C is going to be right answer. Which quantities, in addition to the acceleration of free fall g, affect the pressure at the bottom of a pond of water? The density of the water and the depth of the pond? Yes, it does. The density of the water and the surface area of the pond only. The depth and the pond? No. The depth of the pond and the density of the water and the surface area of the pond? No. So now you see this thing, if you have read the question carefully, so this the basically the, if you talk about pressure in liquids, so it's going to be rho g h. So they have already talk about this thing. In addition to this, so that is going to be the density, the pressure in liquids, it depends, and the depth, which is going to be the height or depth of the liquid. A fixed mass of gas is trapped in a container. The temperature of gas is increased, but the volume of the gas is kept constant. How does the change affect the average kinetic energy of the molecules and pressure on the walls of the container? So, obviously, the average kinetic energy of the molecules is going to be increased, and the pressure is also going to increase. So, this is not the right answer. So, option A is going to be the right answer. Which row correctly describes the arrangement and the motion of the particles in a solid? So far apart, no, the arrangement of particles in the solid is they are not far apart, so this is wrong. They are tightly packed, yes, option C and D can be the right answer. And the motion of the particles moving randomly from place to place. So again, by reading this, I can clearly state that the A, B, C, D are not the right answer. So only this is the right answer. What is the temperature difference between fixed point on a Celsius temperature? So it's going to be B, because the in the Celsius scale the first reading is 0 degree Celsius and the last degree is 100, last reading is 100 degree Celsius. So if you do the difference, so it's going to be this one. In the diagram, each box represents a state of matter and each row represents a chain of state. Which row correctly identifies the test? Now, if you convert liquid to solid, so that process is called as freezing. Either B is the right answer, or either, oh, sorry, it's A or C is the right answer. Okay, from solid to liquid, if I talk about this is R, solid to liquid, so it's going to be like this, solid to liquid. So you do the what? You do the melting procedure, not the boiling thing. Boiling is liquid to gases, and then it's going to be S. S is this one. So liquid to gas, liquid to gas is boiling. Okay, so I got the answer, and the Q is gas to Q is gas to liquid. So gas to liquid is condensation process. So the option C is going to be the right answer for them. Four thermometers with their bulbs painted different colors are placed at each equal distance from a radiant heater. Which thermometer shows the slowest temperature rise when the heater is first switched on? A dull black, a dull white, shiny black, or shiny white? So obviously the white will be reflecting all the heat from the source. So this is the temperature of the shiny white will be less, or you can say they are going to be the slowest one. Which method of transfer of thermal energy is caused by changes in density? So changing in density is basically conduction is not this in solids. Convection is the process when you talk about liquids or gases, or you can say fluids. So when there is change in density, so obviously there is a transfer of heat method. Again, moving to the next question, and it states that the diagram shows two sets of wavefronts in a reference tank, wave direction, and this is a student makes two statements about the waves. When the waves reflect from the barrier, the direction changes from, but the wavelength remains the same. Okay, which statement are correct? When the waves reflect as they enter the shallow water, the direction remains the same. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. So only statement 1 is correct. Because when they reflect, the direction changes, but the wavelength remains same. So they are talking about refraction. What is the color? What is the correct order of the colors in the spectrum of white light? So you can do this thing, Roy G. Bev. You can memorize this word to find out the correct positioning of this: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So over here, blue, green, yellow, blue, green, and yellow. Yes, blue, green, and yellow. Blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow, green. No, yellow, blue. No, Green, blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow. This is so option A is your right answer. An object is placed 30 centimeter in front of the plane mirror. Which statement describes the image of the object? The image size is same as this. No, it's going to be the image is same size and 60 centimeter apart from the object. So when an object is placed, you can see this thing. If a person is standing in front of a mirror, and the distance between this him and the mirror is 30 centimeters, so basically the image will be formed over here, so it's going to be 60 centimeter. So option B is going to be the right answer. A ray of light is shown on the surface of a mirror when two angles represent the angle of incident and the angle of refraction. So always remember this thing, the angle of incident is going to be the between a ray of incident and the normal. So this is your angle of incident and this is your angle of reflection. So option C is going to be the right answer for this. The diagram shows the electromagnetic spectrum. The number indicates the approximate wavelength at the boundaries between the various regions of the spectrum. For a device to be able to make use of electromagnetic radiation, it needs an area of approximately the same size as the wavelength of the radiation it is designed to work. Which statement is going to be correct? PQRSTUV. A mobile phone uses radiation from region P. A television satellite dish uses radiation from region Q. Yep, and that's going to be the right answer, because if you memorize those values, so you can easily identify these MCQs. Okay, micrometer and X-rays are regions of the electromagnetic spectrum. Which statement about microwaves and X-rays correct? Microwaves and X-rays have same frequencies. Now, microwaves and X-rays travel at the same speed in a vacuum. Yes, they travel with the same speed, but I'm not sure because I haven't read the next two options. Microwaves have shorter wavelength than X-rays, so you can read my n value using X-ray glasses. So microwaves have shorter wavelength than X-rays. No, this is the other way around. So frequency increases this way and the lambda decreases increases this way. Over there the wavelength is, so this is also wrong. Microwave travel at the lower speed than this, so option B is your right answer, because both travel with the speed of light in vacuum. So this is going to be like this. An observer stands at the finish line of a 100-meter race. He wants to time the winner's run. He starts his stopwatch as soon as he sees the smoke from starting gun instead of when he hears the bang. What is the reason of doing this? Because the light travels much faster than sound. Yes, this is very true option. There is a risk he might respond to echo of the wall. No. Human reacts slower to sound than light. Human reacts more quickly to sound than light now. So option A is going to be the right answer for this. Which description of a current in a metal is correct? A flow of electrons, a flow of molecules, positive atoms? No, it's the flow of electrons. The diagram shows the circuit containing a variable resistor connected to a variable power supply. The table shows the current for different values of the potential difference and the resistance. So potential difference is 3.6, 1.2, and 3.6. Resistance is this I1, I2, and 3. What is the order of current from smallest to the largest? Smallest to the largest. So now you see the thing, we have a formula V is equals to IR. So V divided by R is equals to I. So you guys can do this thing, 3.6 divided by 12, 1.2 divided by 12, and 3.6 divided by 6. So find out the values, and if you get those values easily, so this is going to be the option C, because it's asking smallest to bigger one. So I2 is the smallest one, then it's going to be I1, and then it's going to be I3. The EMF of the cell in the circuit is 1.5. What does EMF stands for? Electromagnetic field, electromagnetic force, electromotive force, or electromotive field, or electromotive force. So option D is the right answer, because it's a very easy question, and EMF stands for electromotive force. Negatively charged plastic rod P is placed above positively charged plastic rod Q. So P is this, Q is this. What is the direction of the electrostatic force on P and on rod Q? So for electrostatic on rod P, it's going to be like downwards, and for the Q is going to be upwards. So Q is going to be upwards. Yes, it's going to be Q is going to be upwards. This is going to be downwards. So option B is the right answer. A student finds a resistance of a resistor. Which circuit is used to measure the potential difference across the resistors and the current in it? So how you are going to find it out? It's going to be like, you see, this is a series resistor. Voltmeters are not connected in series, and over here again it is not connected in series. Voltmeters are connected in this, and ammeters are connected in series. So this is not possible. So C is the right answer. So ammeters are always connected in series, and voltmeter are always connected in parallel. So this is what you have to remember. Okay, the circuit diagram shows the variable potential divider. Okay, and the slider is moved from P2 towards Q. What happens to the reading on the voltmeter and the brightness of the lamp? So, so in this case, when the reading on the voltmeter is going to increase, and the brightness of lamp is also going to be increased, because when the slider is moved from P towards Q, so you see there will be a lot of resistance, and all the current will be started flowing from this direction to this. So option D is going to be your right answer. The diagram shows a circuit containing a cell, a variable resistance, and two bulbs P and Q. And the resistance of the variable resistor is increased. What happens to the brightness of each bulb? So the brightness of each bulb. Okay, so we have connected it with the variable. The brightness of the bulb P is a dimmer. A is a dimmer. Okay, P is going to be dim, because less amount of current is going to be following from this. Let's suppose it's going to be 10, so it's going to be 20. So because of this resistor, and then the dimmer, and then Q is going to be remaining, is going to remain the same. So option B is the right answer in this case. Where diagram shows a circuit containing a battery, a fuse, and a buzzer. So now you see this thing. The examiner is basically checking your circuit diagram skills. So over here the option is going to be D, and you have to remember this thing, that there's the sign for battery is this one. This is for battery. This is your fuse, and this is your buzzer. Why is fuse used in electric circuits? It's basically to stop the cables from overheating. So, to reduce the power loss, to prevent the short circuits, to increase the circuit resistance. It's basically to stop the cables from getting overheated. The diagram represents a transformer which row shows um, material suitable for making core and the primary coil. So for the core, it's going to be the iron, and in the primary coil, the wires should be made up of copper. So this is the right answer. The diagram shows magnetic field lines around a wire carrying current I. And which diagram is correct? 1 only, 2 and 3, 4, or 1 and 3? So in this case, use the right hand grip rule to find out the right hand grip rule to find out the correct direction of current. If you put your thumb in direction of current and curl your fingers, so the fingers will be pointing clockwise. So in this case, it's going to be anti-clockwise. This is right. This is wrong, because if this is right, so this and this is also right. This is opposite to that thing. This is wrong. So 1 and 3 are right choices. Uh, A wire is placed between the poles of a magnet. So wire is placed in between the magnets. The wire. Which statements are correct? An AC current in the wire causes a changing force on it. A downward DC current in the wire causes the constant force on it. An upward DC current in the wire causes the constant force on it. Radiant force, yes, this is true. Down, yes, this is also true. So option D is right, because I would studied these quiz reasoning or statements again to find out what's wrong with this. So basically, these all three are right statement. Okay, the nuclide notation for the isotope lithium 7 is this. How many neutrons are there in an atom? So neutron 7 minus 3 equals to 4, so B is your right answer. And radioactive material is emitting alpha particles. The radioactive material is used in a demonstration in a school laboratory experiment. Which precaution must be taken by the person carrying out the experiment? Handle the source with tongs, yes, because those are the radioactive elements. Place the source on a heat-proof mat, no. Surround the experiment with a LED screen, okay. And wear goggles. No, option A is going to be the right answer for this. The graph shows how the count rate of the radioactive isotopes changes with time. So what is the half life of this isotope? Okay, this we have to calculate. So now you see this thing. This is, you guys can check the graph. 1 2 3 4 5. So this is like 52 and this is 53. I'll call as 53 divided by 2, which is 26.5. So if you go on to 26.5, so this is around somewhat over here, a little below than this. Okay, so this is going to be like, what's the time over here is going to be, this is 2, so our answer will be 2, because the amount of quantity has been reduced to half. So this is going to be the half-life of the isotope. A student measures the count rate near radioactive source using a detector of ionizing radiation. The diagram shows the arrangement. The counter reads 75 counts per minute. When the source is taken away, the reading in the counter decreases by 5 counts per minute. What was the rate of emission from the radioactive source when the counter reading is corrected for background radiation? So we know that you simply have to subtract 75 minus 5 to get your answer, and that's going to be the option C. So thank you very much, guys, for paying attention in this past paper session. So if you have any queries, or if you are unable to understand any of the questions, Do write me on the comment box and I'll reply you back. Thank you very much. Have a good day.